A toddler taken on a wild ride that ended in a serious crash. What police say led up to the crash and how that toddler is doing this morning.
Also, we're talking about the importance of getting your child vaccinated well ahead of the worst of flu season.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Thursday morning to you. Thanks for choosing the Fox 61 Morning News at 6, America Aries.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. We are starting with the forecast coming off another really warm day. Probably going to be the warmest day we're going to see in a good long time, Rachel.
We tied the record.
Yeah,
we did.
We tied the record at Bradley
great.
International, 86 degrees, set back in 2007 when we did it in 2023. So really impressive numbers out there yesterday. Today is going to be another warm one, but it just won't be as warm. We have a dense fog advisory posted for much of the state this morning. Most of us are dealing with some pretty dense fog out there with less than a mile visibility towards Oxford, Monroe, also towards Danbury this morning, and over in Windsor locked down to about a quarter mile. So definitely something you want to be mindful of through the morning commute. We are expecting improvements on the way later this morning. Once that sun comes out, shines bright, we'll start to see that fog burn off. 56 degrees now over in New Haven. Normally we can see the city lights. You can't see that now. It's 56 in Danbury. It's 57 to start in Bridgeport and about the upper 50s towards northeastern Connecticut. So maybe a light jacket, but you'll be able to ditch it later, with temperatures moving from the 50s to near 60 to the 70s this afternoon, just around 76 degrees for some areas. So low to mid 70s in spots, about 75 degrees in Litchfield as well as towards the Elm City, with mostly sunny skies this afternoon and a light breeze. Then through the overnight, we'll see another round of some fog to greet us out the door for tomorrow morning. More clouds are hanging around, and there's also a chance for some rain Friday and Saturday. We'll talk about that, those details ahead at 6:02. Symphony, I know it's really foggy out there this morning. How are the roads looking?
Not too bad at this point. Still working to get some good camera views of where the fog is the thickest this morning. But the good news is we are accident free so far. However, there are a couple of construction zones I want to let you know about as you head out the door. On the shoreline in Bridgeport, the I-95 northbound exit 27 off ramp is closed this morning, but it doesn't appear to be affecting traffic too much as we take a live look out on 95 in Bridgeport. Traffic volume increasing out there. And now we're going to check out things in the capital city. Folks up and at it on this Friday Eve. Hartford drive times looking good so far. And let's take a quick look at the New Haven drive times. A minor slowdown reported on 95 South heading down to Bridgeport. You'll get there in about 28 minutes. I'll have another update at 6:30.
Thanks.
Well, fire officials in Hampton are still trying to figure out what caused an apartment building to go up in flames.
Yeah, it happened late last night on K-View Drive. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is there live this morning. Lindsay, what can you tell us?
Hi, good morning. Well, fire crews say this fire took around 2 hours to be put out until it was at least somewhat contained. Now, it's a little bit too foggy out here this morning to see the damage left behind, but the apartment building has extensive damage on the outside and the inside. The windows, the roof, the side of the building are just left completely charred this morning. Now, luckily, no injuries have been reported at this time, but we did reach back out to Hampton fire crews to figure out how many people are displaced this morning. You can see on your screen pictures from the scene last night. Smoke billowing out from the top of the building here on K-View Drive. You can see the flames through the windows. You can see the flames rising to the top of the building underneath the roof. Hampton fire crews had to call in neighboring departments to help fight this two-alarm fire. New Haven, North Haven, Cheshire, Wallingford, and Bethany all pitched in because of how aggressive the flames were when initial crews first arrived. Again, it's still unclear how many people lived in this building. Luckily, neighboring buildings in this apartment complex were not impacted. The cause of the fire is still under investigation this morning. Now, we did reach out to police and fire officials to try to figure out how many people are displaced from this building. And once we hear back from them, we'll let you know on air and, of course, online as well. Live in Hampton this morning, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Lindsay, thanks so much for the update there. Well, meantime, at 6:04, Manchester police are investigating an attack on a woman and an attempted abduction.
Yeah, but in both cases, police have made an arrest thanks to some help from the victims. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is at Charter Oak Park where the attack happened. Brooke, how did the victim in that case get away?
Well, Manchester police say that the vigilance and really the quick thinking and actions of both of those victims is what not only helped them get away, but it's actually what helped police catch those suspects. They say that that quick thinking possibly even saved their lives yesterday. In the first incident, police say a 65-year-old woman was on the walking trail here at Charter Oak Park when Daquan Clark Blue threw her to the ground, groped her, physically assaulted her, and tried to take her phone and her purse. Officers say the victim fought him off and then was able to even grab her phone to take a picture of him before he ran away. Police were able to use that photo to track Clark Blue to his home nearby, where he was arrested for 9 different charges, including assault, strangulation, and robbery. Just a few hours later, police say another incident was reported at the Dunkin' on Center Street. They say an 11-year-old girl was walking down that street when Israel Santiago Ortiz started following her. They say he offered her gum and asked if he could take her to go buy some clothes. Police tell us the girl walked into the Dunkin' to ask for help. Those employees were able to call 911, and she told police what Santiago Ortiz looked like. They tracked him down on the street nearby and made that arrest. He is charged with breach of peace and risk of injury to a minor. And both of those suspects are expected to appear in court for the first time today. We will hopefully have an update on that later this afternoon. Live in Manchester, Brooke Ruffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Brooke, thank you. It was a wild scene in Windsor. Police there said a thief seized an opportunity to steal a car that was left running.
Yeah, to make matters worse, a toddler, was in the back seat. That led to one of 3 calls to 911 in just a matter of minutes. Another call came in after a car crashed, killing the thief. It happened at the intersection of Windsor Avenue and Hillcrest Road. Fox 61 was over the scene as police closed off that area to traffic. All right, right now we're going to walk you through what led up to the crash. So just after 9 yesterday morning, outside St. Gabriel's School, the driver of a silver Acura sedan left her child alone in the car with the engine running. Well, a thief got in and took off for the Windsor Federal Savings Bank on Bloomfield Avenue. Police say he robbed it and used the stolen Acura for his getaway vehicle, with the baby still strapped in the car seat in the back. They say the thief was speeding off on Broad Street towards Windsor Avenue when he lost control and rolled over. We talked to neighbors who heard the crash.
From the sound of the accident itself, I knew it wasn't good. It was, it sounded like an explosion, and then I saw a plume of smoke, and you could smell it.
There were several people who were, I guess, driving by who had stopped to help. And I heard them screaming, "There's baby inside, there's baby inside." They picked up a tree branch trying to break the window to get in.
First responders cut away the roof of the car and rescued the child, who was reunited at the scene with its mother. At last report, the child was alert and responsive at Connecticut Children's Hospital. Now, there's no word this morning on whether charges are going to be brought against the mother. It is against the law in Connecticut to leave a child under 12 unsupervised in a car or in a public place that could pose a risk to their safety. According to the Kids and Car Safety Group, so far this year, 125 children nationwide have been left alone in a car that was then stolen. That's as of August. The number was 265 kids for all of last year. Police say the person who stole that car died at the scene in the crash. They have not released his name.
Jury selection is expected to continue today in the trial of Michelle Trones. So far, prosecutors and lawyers agreed on 2 of the 6 jurors. They have to pick 12 total, but 6 will be alternates in this case, so it will be a 6-person jury. Trones' attorney said once selection is finished, there will still be a lot of work to do before the trial starts in January. The defense has several outstanding motions concerning the use of evidence in the trial.
Possible we'll have most of them by the end of next week. However, I think we were luckier today than we would normally be with this kind of case.
Authorities said Trones helped her boyfriend, Fotis Doulos, to get rid of evidence after Fotis' wife, Jennifer, disappeared in 2019. Jennifer is presumed dead, and Trones is facing several charges, including conspiracy to commit murder. There's been a change of guard for the Connecticut State Police. Commissioner James Ravella is retiring. and his top deputy, Colonel Stavros Malekis, is stepping down. They're doing so amidst a federal investigation into accusations that state troopers falsified thousands of traffic tickets. There have also been staffing shortages and union unrest within the department. Now, Governor Ned Lamont confirmed that news yesterday, and he also named Yale University's Vice President of Public Safety, Ronell Higgins, to be Rovella's replacement.